All right, got a phone mount for you guys now. I hope you stay put up there and the screen doesn't shake too much. But I've actually got quite a few things I wanted to talk about for this video. They shouldn't be super long, but they should help indicate where I want to go with this build here. Yeah, you look pretty secure up there. But for the most part, I wanted to talk about items I have that I'm going to be installing soon, items I have coming that I will be installing when they arrive, as well as what I'm going to call the 3 W's for the project. So who, what, and why, like regarding the build. First and foremost, sorry if you see all that crap in the back too. Those are all of my tools. I don't really have anywhere to put them at my house because my garage is a gym. But what I have, okay, we'll start there. I have an aluminum radiator from CSF, as well as a silicone radiator hose set that will hopefully allow me the ability to avoid any decaying of more rubber hoses that are constantly going through heat cycles with the radiator fluid. I also have a Mishimoto thermostat to go with that as well, and it actually has a lower operating temp, so it opens, I think it's 30 degrees colder than the OEM thermostat does, which should hopefully keep operating temps way lower, as well as give me the ability to push power, all right, a little more aggressively when it comes to that point. What do I have coming? I have an electric radiator fan conversion from CJD Racing. If anybody watching this video is aware, this engine has a clutch fan, and engines are obviously prone to loss when they have to move more mass, right? So that's why you might see guys running like billet aluminum crank pulleys and whatnot, as well as underdrive pulleys. It's because they're lighter and they allow less rotational force on the engine. And less rotational force means the engine can more efficiently rotate. More efficient rotation, it directly equates to more power. One of your suction cups just came off. I don't want to drop you. I'm going to tighten you back up really quick. All right. Now, what else? Well, either way, that's coming. That's something I'm really excited for. It was not cheap. I'm not going to lie though. The company, I'm not going to say they're shady, but I do wish their website was a little more forthcoming with information that I would need, especially considering I guess this fan is a custom built item. It is built to order, so they don't have stock, at least not when I purchased it. I would have liked to have known that when I placed the order, considering I have been waiting on this item for, today's the 21st, a little over a month now. And I didn't receive, I didn't receive any information regarding my order or build time or delivery time out of their own volition. I had to reach out to them myself, but I'll go into more detail about that when I get the item, I review it, and I install it with my radiator. Let's see. I think that's about all I have left coming. I think all the other parts I have are either sitting in the back of the truck right now, SUV, I'm sure some of you truck guys are a little weird about me saying that, sitting in the back of the car right now, that are just waiting for a nice day for installation. looks like you're up there, okay. Now the 3 W's. Who am I building this car for? First and foremost, it's myself, obviously, because I'm not trying to impress people by building out a hand-me-down SUV that my dad gave me for my college commute, right? Most people would get their first car. It's typically a hand-me-down if you're a middle-class working family like mine is. And they basically drive it around for a few years, save up their extra cash here and there to hopefully buy a better car. Car guys typically get I'm sure you know this, you're watching, car guys typically get some crappy piece of junk and they want a wrench on it. They eventually sell it and move on, or scrap it and then use that money to buy something a little more sporty. I'm not going that route, which I don't want to say isn't traditional, because I'm sure there's a pretty decent amount of people who are doing the same thing as me, building out their first car. But it's not traditional what I'm doing, in the fact that I'm doing it to a car with almost absolutely zero aftermarket. I do luckily have the ability to understand parts interchange between certain companies and everything, especially the fact that this engine, the VQ40, is quite literally the exact same block and a stronger crank as the VQ35. Meaning there is quite a bit of parts interchange there between those two motors that I could get a hold of. I'll talk about that at a later date. What am I doing this for? Right? That's the second W. Quite frankly, I don't know. I could have saved a whole lot of money dumping this car as fast as possible, but I decided to stick with it and continue with basic maintenance as well as buying very expensive parts for a car that doesn't have aftermarket, because what you do find is extremely expensive. I'm basically just doing this as a way to get my hands dirty. This is my first car, so I'm a car guy in the sense that I watch YouTube, I play video games, I fantasize about working on cars, and I understand all the inner workings of stupid cars that nobody should really care about. Why do I know so much information about the performance aspect of a Dodge Journey? I couldn't tell you. Do I know it? Yeah. Don't know why I know it, but I do. I'm basically doing this. Oh, your suction cup came off. I'm basically doing this just to prove to myself that I know what I'm doing. I do think it's also interesting, like when you go on YouTube and you see a very unconventional build. You know, like I remember the one thing that got me really, really into cars, where I was like, oh, that's something I want to do when I'm older and I have my car. Seeing that supercharged or turbocharged minivan, right? Who's doing that? Nobody. Nobody's doing that. And if you are, you're a little loopy, right? That's a lot of money and a lot of research and development into a car that basically has no aftermarket. That's weird. But it was also very interesting to watch. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping to do here. Now, we talked about who I'm building this for, why I'm doing this, or what I'm doing this for. But now we got to talk about why. There's no reason, you know? I mean, I guess there is a reason. I want to say, for the most part, this car, the one reason I really don't want to get rid of it is because it has a lot of sentimental value to me and my family. It was my family's first 3-row SUV. We are a family of 6, right? So 4 kids, I'm the oldest. I basically grew up watching my family scratch at everything they could get a hold of financially. My dad lost his job in the recession of 2008. You know, I have seen, I guess, the figurative trenches of my family's life, and watching how excited finally buying this car was for my dad and my mom, so that they finally had something that could fit our family safely. But it's just something I can't really let go of, and something I'm not going to let go of. I don't really care what other people say about it. It's something that matters to me, and I'm not going to let the words of others dictate how I build and what I want to do with my own time and my own money. And I guess that's probably the biggest reason, right? That's the biggest what for, is because nobody else is doing it, and nobody else wants to do it because they don't want to put in the effort it takes into researching and actually getting your hands dirty on a platform that doesn't have support. Now, I actually want to touch on more of the future build ideas for this car. Doing more research, I found out that almost the entirety of the VQ35 valve system, for the most part, fits, except for the actual valves themselves. You have to do a little machining, I think, on my block or on my heads. Almost the entirety of the valve train system works in this car. Now, what does that mean for me? That means it now opens up the doorway of possibilities for putting in street and drift or drag cams in my Nissan Pathfinder with a simple bolt-on. Do you have any idea how insane that would be? To be running a drag cam or a drift cam from a VQ35 in my 2009 Nissan Pathfinder? Like, tell me that wouldn't be one of the coolest things ever. Alright, anyway. So, I'm going to be honest, getting those cams would probably be the next biggest purchase for this car, aside from wheels and tires. So, I am probably going to look into that. I'm going to find out cam separation, cam lobe angles and whatnot, as well as valve duration on my intake and exhaust for the stock car. That can be a little finicky though, because the VQ40 has variable intake timing, I want to say. So right around 3,500 RPMs, something changes in the timing, and you can actually hear it. It's going to take off some of the Honda boys, but it sounds like VTEC. I don't know that I can show it to you on the camera or on my phone, because I don't know if it'll pick up the change in the engine noise. Your suction cup, no. All right, I got to find a better way to mount you. But so I have that. So what that means is I would have to go through, I think it's Jim Wolf Technologies. They do a lot of tuning for Nissans. I'm looking into buying possibly one of their cam sets for a G35 and a 350Z, so the VQ35 non-rev up version. So the ones with less horsepower and the single throttle body, as well as their timing locker, which will allow me to basically block the ECU from activating the variable intake timing. Now, I believe that's monitored by the ECU. There's a possibility it's not, and it might run off of RPM. So it might register like a mechanical registration that you're at 3,500 RPMs. It's time to shift timing so you get more pickup. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I do know that's something I can do. So G35 and 350Z cams, those would be purchased and thrown in, as well as a timing locker. Now, I would only be able to do that after I get the car tuned. And that is because I don't know how to set timing myself, and I don't have the tools and everything I would need to do it. I have also been mulling over the idea of the LS or Hemi swap for this car. I'm not entirely sure I want to do it the more I think about it, because on all the old Nissan forums and everything like that, you see all the old heads talking about, oh, why would you ever bother building out the VQ40? Just put in the VK56. It's cooler. You make more power right out the gate. You just spend more money working on the VQ40 than you would in just swapping the VK56 in. And to that, my answer is, one, do you have the time, the effort, and the money to go buy me the motor? Because if not, shut your mouth, okay? Simple as that. Do you also have the space and the extra car I would need while the car is down swapping? If you don't, shut your mouth, right? Third, why would I do that? Everybody puts a V8 in something. Everybody talks about how played out the LS swap is because it's so popular and it's done so often because it's so cheap. Oh my goodness, you almost fell all the way off. And to that, I simply answer, I don't want to. I think the idea of a V6 in an SUV that can line up against some of your more popular sports cars or your more popular street cars, right? Honda Civic Type R, WRX, and STI. What else is there right now? I guess technically the Genesis Coupe, if it doesn't throw a rod through its block when you line up against it, as well as the, give me one more. What else is popular right now? Oh, Hyundai Veloster N's and Elantra N's. If you get an SUV pushing 300, 350 horsepower to line up against you and you lose, and you're like, yo, pop the hood, what's in there? You got a V8 in there? Because you got a little thumping going on in your exhaust note from having cams in it? And it's a V6? A 4-liter V6? Shoot, come on, man. You can't tell me that wouldn't be more impressive than just popping the hood and seeing another V8. Oh, it's another V8 swap. Come on. I feel like the V6 pushing power, I don't care how much it costs or how long it takes me to get to that point. I feel like if I were to do that and pop the hood, somebody would be impressed and somebody would get their feelings hurt a lot. But that's typically my stance on this car. The electric fan should be here shortly. I don't remember the exact day. I think it may or may not have said the 25th of this month. They are coming from California, so I don't know if they'll be here in 4 days. So those will be here. Hopefully it's nice in the next week or so I could do an install video for you guys. Yeah, I mean, oh wait, another very good bit of information regarding the future of the car. I have a bonus check coming on April 13th or April 15th from my job. I think it's going to be around $400 before taxes, and if I overestimate the amount of tax they would take out of the check, I should get a little more than $300, which is great because that covers about half of the cost of the long tube headers. So with the shifts I'm working in the next month or so, right around the time I get that check, I should have a pretty decent amount of money in my bank account, hopefully, which will allow me to buy those headers and hopefully get another install video out in a pretty decent time frame, sometime mid to late April or mid-March, which would be, that'd be wonderful. You know, headers are definitely something that I feel would help elevate this car to another level. Yeah, I mean, so I have the eFan kit coming, I have bonus check coming, so I should be able to get headers and an install video out shortly for you guys. I also have, what else do I have? I have some basic maintenance parts that I need to put in still, like my tie rod ends, as well as a new transmission mount. I'm not sure if you can hear it on the camera, but the car does vibrate a little bit when idle in drive. Not sure why. I think it might be a bad transmission mount or a bad idle air control valve. I have no idea where the idle air control valve is on this car, so I also can't seem to find it on Google either, so I really have no idea what to do there. Yeah, I mean, those are the plans. I'm gonna get inside, start working on an essay. I'm gonna upload this video in the meantime as well, and hopefully I can get another one out in the coming days. Yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoy the little bit of background information for the car, and I hope you stop by for another video later at some point. Maybe you want to see me put in that E-fan kit with my dad, you know, as well as the aluminum radiator fan, the aluminum radiator. That'll go in at the same time as well. So I guess you can see my radiator, E-fan, as well as the silicone radiator hose set go in all in the same video, hopefully. If I could figure out how to edit, that'd be great. I might have to buy an editing software with my next check, but we'll see. I'm just coming back from class, gotta head in, write that essay, and I'll upload this. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.